How you doing, guys? Neil here from Bogog Baits. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you through the unassembly of an Garcia Revo STX. Part 1 of the video, I'm going to show you how to break this reel down to just the frame. Part 2 of the video, I'm going to paint the frame and show you how to reassemble a reel. You're going to need a couple of simple tools, a Phillips head screwdriver, needle nose pliers, and a small pick to remove the retainer clips on the bearings. So let's get started. Alright, so to take the Revo apart, it's actually pretty simple. There's a thumb screw on the left hand side you want to remove. Previously I took the spring out of the screw, so it's a little easier to take apart. You want to remove the side plate. You want to remove the spool. And there's 2 screws on the left hand side of the reel. There's one there and there's one there. I removed those in advance. You want to back the drag all the way off, and next you want to remove the screw that covers the nut on the handle. Take that off. Really important part to remember is that the thread on the handle, the nut, is a reverse thread. I've made the mistake before stripping these out, so you actually want to turn the nut to the right to loosen it. I'll remove the nut on the handle. There's a washer underneath it. You want to put your finger on the level wind. You want to continue to back the drag off. Inside the drag there is a washer assembly, so when you get the drag to almost off, you may want to turn the reel in the downward position so the washers don't fall off. Take that all off in one piece. Put the washers inside so you don't lose them. There's a sleeve. Next you want to remove the spool tensioner knob. And inside the spool tensioner knob there's actually 2 pieces. And there's a little keyway inside there that the black piece locks back into when you're reassembling it. You want to lay the reel face down and gently remove the cover. It's a pretty good idea to take a photo of the inside if you have a camera phone or a regular camera, so when you're looking at it you can see what all the components are in the event that you forget how it goes back together. Alright, so next what I'm going to show you how to do is how to remove the internal gears. I think the best idea here is to remove all these gears which contain the drag plates all at once. Don't try to take the assembly apart. If you want to take it apart piece by piece afterwards to clean it, you can, but when you're unassembling it, it's easier to take this apart in as big a pieces as possible. After you remove that, you notice that the main shaft with the springs are there. Remove the centering pin, and you can actually take the springs off and set them aside. Then this whole assembly right here, if you grab the gear, will come out in one piece. You don't want to clean that up later and re-grease it. Now what you're left with is this assembly. Another good idea to take a couple of snapshots at this point so you can remember how things went back together. The next step is going to be to remove these 2 screws. There are a couple of springs attached to this assembly. You want to take note as to how the springs were in the unit so you can reassemble them. And again, I remove that piece all in one piece if possible. Place that aside. spring that controls the thumb bar. You want to be very careful not to bend that. It's a small screw. If for some reason you do damage or destroy it, they are available on Garcia's websites. They're literally pennies. There's another screw right down the bottom here that you want to remove. Once you remove that, and drive gear will come out. I like to leave that all in one piece. The actual reason why I rebuilt this is because I had stripped this gear as well as the gear that's attached to the worm shaft. Next is going to be to remove the access panel on the front, which covers up the actual worm gear. There's two screws in this, one on either side. Set the screw aside. I had already removed the other one previously. This piece slides straight out. Pin that holds the worm gear will also slide out. On the front of the worm gear is a little black cap. You're going to want to remove that, and inside that there's actually going to be a small washer in the tooth that actually rides inside the gear. Now I found the best way to get this to pop out is to actually spin it and get it to pop out like that. Just grab it gently with a pair of needle nose pliers and remove it. You can see it's got a little tooth on it, and it rides in the actual worm gear itself. On the left hand side there's a little retainer clip. However you want to remove that, whatever sort of little tool you have available that makes it as easy as possible. I'm using this little pick. It's actually from a spark plug gapper. It's a plastic spacer assembly. Goes over the top of it with a washer. I'm going to remove that. And then the whole worm gear slides right out. Once you remove the worm gear, you can slide the shaft that holds the worm gear out straight over, like so. There's actually a small bearing assembly on the inside of that as well. Place that to the side. And you basically strip down to the frame. The only thing left to remove is the thumb bar, and I'll show you that in a minute. Alright, so next I'm going to show you how to remove the thumb bar. If you'll notice, and I hope you can see, inside there's a little screw. You want to remove that screw. And once you remove that screw, this black piece actually holds the whole assembly in. You want to just grab that and you want to wiggle it out. Slides right out. Just remember that the L shape, when you put it back in, points towards the top of the reel. Then the thumb bar itself will pull right out. On either side there are two little plastic gaskets. And that's pretty much it. You get the frame stripped down to nothing at all. There is one bearing right here that I am not going to try to remove. I'm sure it's removable. I don't think it's replaceable though, unless you replace it with a stock bearing. So what I'm going to do is clean this all up now, get it ready for paint, and show you guys after it's painted how to reassemble it.